Good morning. Today's class is going to be on sociology of India. Why sociology is important in India, and the importance of sociology in India, as well as the relationship of sociology with other sciences. So this is going to be the topic that we are going to study today. First, why is sociology important in India, and what is the importance about the study of sociology in India? Every country has societies, okay, and each society comprises of people. Individuals form society. 100 people together form a society, or 200 people, or 1000 people, or 10,000 people. So every country will have society, but what is specific to India that is different from other countries? Okay, that is what sociology in India is all about. We will study about the society, the problems in the society, why these problems come, how they can be rectified, what are the problems that are specific to our country. For example, poverty is a social problem which is present in India, in US, in UK, Africa. In every country there is poverty. Similarly, there are problems like alcoholism. That is a social problem, and that is present in every country. But what is the social problem that is specific to India and Indian society? Like, for example, corruption is present all over the country, but it is much more in India. So corruption is a very big social problem in India. Two things that are very specific to India that is not present in other countries are untouchability and caste system. What is untouchability? Low caste people do not touch them. There is a separate lifestyle for those people. The high caste people do not go in the same road as the low caste people. They do not drink in that tea in the same shop that low caste people drink. So this is a social problem that sociologists will study, and it is specific to India. Similarly, caste system is not present anywhere in the world, but only in India. Racism is present all over the world. Racism, what is racism? Differences based on the color of the person, or the origin of the person, or religion of the person. This is racism. That is prevalent all over India, all over the world. But caste system is present only in India. So these are India specific problems, and sociology in India deals with these issues other than the general issues. And who has to solve all these problems? The government has to solve all these problems. Till 1947, India was ruled by Britishers. And what did the Britishers do? They tried to increase these problems. When social problems are more in number, when there is untouchability, caste system present in India, then it is easy for the Britishers to rule the Indian people. So they never tried to solve these caste problems or untouchability problem, but encouraged it. So now the Indian government is trying its best to remove all this caste system and untouchability. In the past several years, from 1947, there are various rules to remove untouchability and caste system in India. Okay, the sociology also tries to help study the weaker society, weaker population of the society. For example, there are people who are financially weak, so that means they are poor people. So how to raise the standard of living of the poor people, that also sociology studies. And a medical sociologist studies the health problems of the people. It could be poor people or rich people or specific group of people, and what are the health problems and how to overcome that. Okay, so social transition means change in the status of the person. So a poor person may become, over a period of time, self-sustaining person. That is social transition. For example, 20-30 years back, a carpenter or a mason did not have enough money. Today, even those people have a lot of money, because the standard of living of Indian people has increased over a period of time. 20 years back, there were less cars, less bikes. Today we see more cars and more bikes. What does that mean? That means the economic status or the income levels of people have increased, so people are able to afford more things. So a study of all these things in India is covered by sociology in India. Okay, so what is the importance of sociology in the Indian context? Why is it, what is specific to India? in India we will be able to assess the human resource. Okay, what is human resource? Human resource means ability of the people to work and the number of people for specific jobs. So most of the social problems are caused by lack of jobs, unemployment, and this can be rectified by trying to find how many people are unemployed and which jobs they can be employed in. Then they will be able to earn money, and some of the social problems will be we can get rid of those social problems. So assessing human resource is one of the importance of sociology in Indian context. Next, we'll learn about the knowledge of human society. Society in India, in Tamil Nadu, there are people living in groups. In each city there are societies. In the state there are societies, and each state in India has different groups of people. Okay, so each of them have relationship within their society, within their church, within their temple, within their mosque. So who all go to a same mosque or a same temple, they have a relationship. People who go to the same college, they have a relationship. People who go to the same workplace, they have a relationship. All these are small societies. So workplace is a type of society, religious institution is a type of society, and educational institution is a type of society. So we will be able to assess the human behavior, and knowledge about the human society can be gained when we study sociology. Next, we will be able to identify social problems. I already told you about the social problems that are present in India and that are present all over the world. When we study sociology, we will be able to identify these social problems, why they are occurring, and the sociologists can advise the government on creating policies that can get rid of these social problems. Then social organization. When there are no problems in the society, it is called social organization. When problems come, then the society becomes disorganized. It can be said the other way also. When the social disorganization is there, social problems can come. One simple example: in your house, every day if you arrange your books properly, if you arrange the newspaper properly, if you keep your things safely in one particular area, then the next day is easy for you to take it. Or 10 days later, when you are searching for it, it's easy for you to take it. But if you throw the things in your house wherever you feel like, then 10 days later when you search for a particular object, it will not be there. You will not find it. So that is disorganization. Being organized is keeping things where they should be. Okay, so similarly in society, social organization means how each of the social institutions function. They are functioning in a proper manner. So studying this is social organization. Next, social reconstruction. When there is disorganization in the society, when the society breaks down, then it needs to be reconstructed, it needs to be corrected. For example, a few days back when that doctor died in Chennai, there was a group of people who went and hit the other people who came to bury the doctor suffering from coronavirus. Okay, so that is a social problem, that is social disorganization. The society was not organized at that time, there was disorganization. So the government is trying to reconstruct it by giving advice to the people, by making laws that doctors should not be attacked, and by making health education awareness campaigns saying that coronavirus will not spread after a person is dead. Okay, so these kind of things is called social reconstruction. Next, we will study about the cultural heritage. What is cultural heritage in Tamil Nadu? One example is the Jallikattu. You all remember a few years back when the government banned Jallikattu, all the people of Tamil Nadu united together and they protested saying it is a culture of the Tamil people and it should not be banned. So that is cultural heritage. So sociologists study the cultural heritage of each society. So Tamil society, Jallikattu is one of the cultural heritages. There are other things, but one example is this. So like that, the study of social cultural heritage is under sociology. The next thing is family stability. Different countries have different types of families. For example, in foreign countries, there are single people living alone. They do not marry. In India and some Asian countries, family is given a lot of priority, and stability in the family is given a lot of priority. Husband and wives live together, and that is family stability. Children also live with their parents even after their marriage in a joint family. This is prevalent in many parts of the Indian villages and cities. Cities it is decreasing, but villages it's still there. So this is family stability, and sociology studies how these families are united, how some families become disunited, and all this studying is so under sociology. Then we understand the social problems. We already discussed what are the social problems, how they come, how social disorganization occurs, and the sociologist will try to understand the social problems and try to find solutions by talking to the government and trying to make policies, rules and regulations which overcome the social problems. Then social relationship. I already told a religious institution or a educational institution or a workplace, each has a group of people. All of you are students studying in SIHRLC Karigiri. So you form a relationship between each other. You talk to each other. There is a WhatsApp group between for you all. So when you communicate with each other, that is social relationship. Like that in the society in a large scale, people who go to the same temple, they'll have one relationship. People who work in CMC will have one relationship. So like that social relationships are formed, and study of this is done by sociologists. So in conclusion, what we can say is, if we study sociology, we will be able to understand the individuals, communities, families, and then the society. Individuals form families, and families form communities, and communities form societies. So when we will be able to study all these people, and we will be able to understand them, and if there are any problems in individuals or communities or society, we will be able to identify solutions for these problems. Okay, so this is about sociology in India and the important aspects about sociology of India. Okay, the next topic that we are going to study is relationship of sociology with other sciences. Exam point of view, I'll just tell you, there are few sciences that I have listed. There are other sciences which you can read on the internet, and you have to at least write one point which is similar to sociology. For example, geography and sociology, what are the similarities? And you have to write one point in which this differs. So what is the difference between geography and sociology? So for each social science, you have to write at least one point for similarity, one point for difference. Okay. So sociology is a subject which has broad ideas. Okay, a lot of people say sociology covers all the other social sciences. For example, economy, political science, ethics, all these are covered by sociology, some people say. So let's see what are the various social sciences, how they are similar to sociology, and what is the difference between sociology and these other sciences. So when we study the similarities and differences, we can find what is the relationship between sociology and other sciences. Okay, the first thing is social psychology and sociology. This is very important thing, because socials, you all study psychology also, you know what psychology is. It is studying the mind of the individual or the problems in the mind of the individual. So the difference between sociology and psychology is, psychology studies mainly about the individual, whereas sociology studies about the community. Okay, so when individuals form communities, if many people in the society have similar mental problems, then it can cause social problems. Okay, so the similarity is that we study about the problems of the mind in both sociology and psychology, but in psychology we study about the problems of an individual person, whereas in sociology we study the problems in many people who have similar mental health problems. For example, due to coronavirus, a lot of people are made to stay inside the house. If you are staying inside your house for 30-40 days without any activity, then people are likely to get depressed. Okay, especially those who are living alone. And then suicide can be one of the ways in which people try to escape from this lockdown. Okay, so studying this in the society is sociology. But helping out an individual person and studying the problems in a single person is psychology. So that is the difference and relationship between social psychology and sociology. The next thing is the difference, the relationship between sociology and anthropology. Anthropology is usually considered to be the study of primitive people or ancient people or tribal people. Okay, so when we say anthropology, the primitive people will have their own culture, they will have their own archaeology, their own physical relationships. Okay, all this is called as social anthropology. Okay, so the relationship between sociology is that sociology usually studies about the contemporary issues or the present issues. It does not study about the past, it studies about the present. But the relationship is, unless we know about the past, we will not be able to understand the present situation. We always study how people lived in the past and how people live presently, and what is the relationship, is there any similarity, is there any difference. So anthropology is study of primitive people, sociology is study of contemporary people. But without studying the primitive people, modern sociology will not be present. Okay, so that is the similarity and difference between sociology and cultural anthropology. Then we come to another social science called economics. Economics in Tamil means porladharam. What is the income expenditure? What is the relationship between sociology and economics? If you have a lot of money in your house, or at least enough money in your house, you may not have many social problems. Okay, poverty will not be there. You will be having a lot of friends because of your income levels. Okay, you will have less psychological problems. So all this makes you economically stable, and economic social problems will not be present. Okay, but at the same time, because of coronavirus, a lot of people are becoming unemployed. They do not have jobs. So what will happen? They will not be able to provide for their families. When they are not able to provide for their families, when children ask certain things, the parents will get angry because they don't have money. They cannot tell the child they don't have money. They will get angry. So this is how the sociology becomes affected by the economics. So if the economics is normal, sociology will be better. The society will be better. So the study of society is sociology, whereas economics studies about the financial problems within the society leading to social problems. Then we come to another social science called history. Okay, history is again like cultural anthropology. History is the study of ancient things. Okay, whereas sociology is the study of present. So that is the difference between the sociology and history. But what is the similarity between history and sociology is, history is a concrete subject. History is concrete because whatever has happened in the past is history. We are not saying this might have happened. It is not something which is abstract, which is only in the mind. But history is full of facts. Okay, what has happened. Whereas sociology is an abstract science. We study certain things in sociology and we come to certain conclusions which may be true, may not be true. So sociology is an abstract science. Okay, so that is the difference between sociology and history. Then we come to another social science called ethics. Okay, ethics is very important. What does ethics mean? In a medical sociology profession, ethics is very, very important, and you will study about ethics in detail. Ethics can simply be said to be morality or morals. Okay, moral values. Okay, for example, if a poor patient comes to you and a rich patient comes to you, who will you treat first? Okay, some of you may say I'll treat the rich person first, some of you may say I'll treat the poor person first. Actually, as a medical sociology, you should see who came first to you, they should be given priority, and who has more serious illness, they should be given priority. We should not look at their richness or their poorness when we treat a patient. So that is ethics, treating everybody equally in a justifiable manner. That is called ethics. Okay, so ethics is a study of morals. It is concerned with what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so if you steal something, that is wrong. if you are good to somebody, that is ethically right. So you understand the difference between right and wrong, and that is ethics. So ethics always studies what is right, what is wrong. So in the society, there are 90 people who do the right things, there may be 10 people who do wrong things. So ethics will study what is right, what is wrong, who does right, who does wrong things. But sociology is not concerned about right or wrong. It studies society as it is. Whether the person is wrong or right, a study about the society as a whole is called sociology. Okay, again I come back to the example of the doctor who was tried, people tried to bury in Chennai after the coronavirus. So what happened there? There were a group of people who came and hit the people who tried to bury the doctor. Okay, so is that right or wrong? For the people who are looking at that situation, we feel that it is wrong. But for the people who came and hit the doctors, they'll think what they did is right. They'll think that they tried to save their own community from getting coronavirus. So that is ethics. What is right, what is wrong, we study from a outside perspective, that is ethics. But sociology is actually studying why the society behaved like that. Whether it is right or wrong, we are not concerned. We are studying only why people behaved in such a manner. That is sociology. Okay. The next social science is geography. Okay. So what is the relationship between sociology and geography? Geography is a study of place. Okay. Place in the sense desert, mountain area, or a plateau area, or a normal area, or a sea area. So study of these areas is called geography. How is sociology related to geography? Actually, based on the place in which a particular person lives, their culture changes. People living near the sea, they are mostly fishermen, so they have a different culture. People living in the hilly areas, they are mostly tribal people because they have been secluded from the normal communities for a long time, so they have a separate culture. And people living in cities, they have different culture. So geography actually plays a major role in the sociology or the society and the culture of the people. So sociology studies these differences in the people living in different areas. Okay, so that is the relationship between geography and sociology. Then sociology and political science. Okay, what is politics? Politics is people in the government, people who are trying to be in the government. Okay, they are people who are in authority. Okay, government is in authority. Who governs over the people in the society? The government. And they are the people who do the politics. And study of the politicians and their actions is called political science. Okay, so sociology studies the people, and political science is actually part of sociology because it is also a study of the people, but people who are in authority in the government. Okay, so that is the relationship between sociology and political science. Sociology studies all people, whether it is the people who live in the community or who are ruling the community. So government or the politics or the political people are the rulers or the people who govern the community, and political science is study of these people, whereas sociology is study of the political people as well as the people who are in the community. Then finally we come to what is basic sociology and applied sociology. We have studied a lot of theory in the first chapter. It's all theoretical. Okay, so we have studied what is the relationship between sociology and other sciences. We have studied what is the sociology of India. We have studied what is sociology, how it is, whether it is a science or not a science. So all that is theoretical part. So that is basic sociology. What is applied sociology is how the study of this sociology will help in making the life of the people living in our community in a better way. Okay, so there should be some positive effects of studying sociology. Just theory of sociology will not help. It should have an impact on the community in a positive way. It should have an impact on the individuals and societies in a positive way. So that is applied sociology. For example, in India and Tamil Nadu, the government has made a lot of social schemes. For example, ration shops or public distribution system as it is called is a social scheme. Amma Unavagam, the place where food, low cost food is provided to poor people and also free food is given to poor people, is a social scheme. Demonetization was a scheme which was announced by the central government. It may not be a social scheme, but it was a scheme which affected people. Manrega, MNREGA, or the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Okay, so this is a social scheme. It guarantees 100 days of employment to the people of India, especially poor people. Okay, these are all social schemes, and the impact of these schemes, whether it is beneficial to the people, how many people are being benefited, and can we make more such schemes for such people, these are all applied sociology. Okay, for example, the Manrega scheme focuses on unemployment and employing the unemployed people, whereas the ration shops focus on the people who are poor. They may be employed, they may be unemployed, but on the poor people, lower socio-economic people. Same way, Amma Canteen also focuses on those people. And there are disability schemes. People with disabilities, there are schemes, social schemes for them that focuses on the disabled people. So how effective these schemes are, that can be studied by the sociologists, and that is applied sociology. And based on other social problems that we face, we can also formulate new policies and new laws by the government, and new schemes can be brought out, and that is also applied sociology. Okay, so that is the benefit of studying sociology. So it's not just theoretical, but we will study the social problems and we will try to find solutions for all these social problems, and that is applied sociology. One of the applied sociology fields is medical sociology. So we are trying to find what are the health problems of people in the community. If they are poor, what are the health problems, and because they are poor, do they get any other diseases? For example, TB. TB is more common in poorer people because they have low food nutrition. Their amount of protein that they take is very less, and other than that, they also live close together. So because they live close together, their infection is passed on from one person to another very quickly. So TB is very common in poor people. So identifying this was done by medical sociologists, trying to find solutions. How can we find a solution? Do we do social distancing for TB to overcome TB, just like coronavirus? So these are all aspects that a medical sociologist will study, and that is again an applied sociology. Okay, so that is the difference between basic sociology and applied sociology. So with this, we finish the first chapter, and thank you.